Hello everybody, this is the Mushroom Wizard, and once again I'm coming at you with a presentation about mushroom picking in Saskatchewan. This one concerns the edible polypores of Saskatchewan. There are many other polypores that are not edible. We're not even going to look at those. There's quite a long list of genre to go over here, so I'll try to make everything brief. The genre includes Albitrellis, Serioporus, Fistulina, Refulla, Ichnoderma, Lytiporus, Neofabulus, and Polyporus. So what are polypores? Polypores are found on trees and wood. They usually release spores through hardened tubes that form pores, kind of like bolites, but these are hard. And they may also have gills or teeth, but we're not going to deal with any of those. We're just going to be looking at ones that have pores on the bottom. These usually form either brackets, conchs, or fronds, and are usually saprotrophic and or parasitic, with one key exception. This one. So, this is the sheep polypore, Albitrellis ovinus. The cap is white to cream, turning tan with age. You can see it's kind of cream there, the base color. It is convex, but it quickly flattens out, and sometimes it becomes depressed at maturity in the center there usually. If you look straight down on it, the profile is either round, but more often it's going to be eccentric, more or less. Now, if you look down on this profile, it is round to some extent, but not in the same way that other mushrooms would be. The scaling is tan and areolate, becoming more so with age. And when I say areolate, I mean it has that appearance of cracked mud. And the surface itself, even before the scaling, is bumpy and uneven. So the margin is eccentric and wavy, almost right from the get-go. At times it can appear almost scalloped too. When I say scalloped, I mean like very little grooves almost notched in around the circumference. And the margin is downturned. Even when it becomes wavy or is wavy, it's downturned. This is a firm mushroom, very firm, and it's up to 10 inches across, so it could be quite large. And here we have a size reference of some smaller specimens. And you can see on the top left there how eccentric that cap can be. And here you can see they're all downturned with the margin. And in the middle there, up top, you can see that areolate cracking very clearly. The pores are white to cream, and they turn tan with age. If you push your finger into them or damage them in some other way, they bruise green or yellow. And these are decurrent. They run down that stipe. And the pores are very small. They are round, but when they start running down the stipe, they become angular. And this mushroom produces a white spore print. The stipe is off-white to tan with age. It is central or eccentric in terms of its attachment. So it can be off-center when it connects to the cap. It is cylindrical, so it's basically the same width throughout. If you run your finger along it, it has a velvety feel, but as it grows older, that disappears and it becomes smooth. And it's up to about 4 inches high and 1 inch wide. So this is the one, like I said, that breaks the rules. It is terrestrial, growing on the ground as opposed to on wood. And it is mycorrhizal. It is not a parasite, and it is not a saprotroph. It is mycorrhizal with conifers. So that would be a mushroom that would be fairly widely dispersed in this province, especially up north. These occur summer through fall, and they are gregarious, often clumping together, as you can see there. There's actually a number of them jostling for space and kind of cramming each other out. The edibility is good. Good for dehydrating. They're good in stews or other dishes where they get boiled for a long time or simmered for a long time. And they're good for beginner mushroom pickers because you really can't mistake it for anything else. This is the Beefsteak Polypore, Fistulina hepatica. So this bracket is dark red, as you can see, and it is lighter towards the margin and on that little tiny stipe that connects it to the wood. It is fan-shaped or kidney-shaped. The stipe is very short, and it has a lateral attachment, so it attaches to the cap from the side, or a sessile attachment. So it may not be present at all. It may just be this fan just plastered up against the tree. The cap surface is moist when young, drying out with age, and it has a slightly wavy margin there, especially as it gets a little bit bigger and older. The surface is smooth and sometimes a little bit lumpy, and it's up to 9 inches in diameter, so it can get quite big. You don't want to pick them when they're that big. Here's a size reference, and you can see somebody trimming off the edges with a knife. The spores are white, turning yellow at maturity, and they become reddish brown with age. And if you push your finger into it or damage it, again, these will turn a reddish brown. They'll bruise reddish brown. The pores are large and round, and the tubes are unique. If you were to peel away those pores a little bit, they're not connected to one another. They just fall apart, and they're easily peeled away from the cap. And this mushroom produces a pinkish yellow spore print if you want to do a spore print on it. So its ecology is both saprobic and or parasitic, and these grow on dead or dying hardwoods with a preference for oak. So again, if you want to find this mushroom, you're going to have far greater success in the southeast portion of the province where we have oak. This causes a brown rot within the tree, which eventually kills it and then decays it. So these occur summer and fall. They are solitary to gregarious. The edibility is choice. These are best picked when young. Otherwise, they're very tough, and they have a citric taste, kind of a lemony taste. They need to be simmered for long periods of time, especially if they're older, to kind of produce a meal that's not tough and leathery. And these are for intermediate mushroom pickers. So we have a look-alike alert. Fistulina hepatica, that is our mushroom that we're talking about on the left, versus Haplopilas nidulans on the right, and that is also known as the cinnamon bracket, which is quite toxic. So that will be covered in a different presentation concerning toxic species. But feel free to look it up and make some comparisons. The next species we're going to look at is the Hexagonal Pored Polypore. This is Neofabulus alveolaris. The name, it's very obvious where it comes from. So the bracket is yellow to orange to tan in color. That color fades with age. These are fan-shaped, or if it's growing directly on the top of, say, a log, then it will be cup-shaped. The short stipe has a lateral attachment for most of them, or a sessile attachment, so it will be missing altogether. Or again, if it's on the top of a log growing upwards, it'll have a central attachment. The scaling on there, because you see there are scales, these are radially lined. So they start from the center and they kind of beam outwards. The margin is slightly downturned, and it's lighter in color. You can see it's more of a drab tan. There's a leathery texture, so if you were to pick one of these and kind of bend it, it would be very malleable. And these are velvety when young, becoming smooth and dry later on. And these are up to 3 inches in diameter. So not a very big mushroom. Here's a size reference for you. The biggest thing about this mushroom are the pores, once again, that you can see there. And those pores are white to cream in coloration. They are very large, they are angular, and to some extent hexagonal shaped. They are deeply decurrent. They run down the entire length of the stipe, as you can see there. And this mushroom produces a white spore print. Also, this is a good picture for noting that margin that is downturned throughout the life of this mushroom. The ecology is saprobic. These are not parasitic. These grow on hardwood with a preference for sticks that have broken off the tree and are lying on the ground. These occur through the spring, and then the fruit bodies remain until fall, and then that's when they die. These are gregarious, sometimes jostling for space, as you can see in this photo. The edibility is very poor. I can't describe this as anything other than leathery, chewy dust. I tried them twice. The first time I was like, I did something wrong, clearly. Second time I was like, I didn't do anything wrong. These are edible. I'm not sick, but why? Why bother? So these are for beginner mushroom pickers because nothing else looks like this. Next we have the hen of the woods, Refulla frondosa. So the fruiting body is brown in color, yellowing with age, sometimes with concentric bands. You can see them there. They're kind of faint, of various shades of brown or yellowish brown. The individual fronds are fan-shaped, and many fronds are attached to a central branch which has been obscured, and you will usually be obscured by the large amount of fronds coming off of it, and these create a larger rosette pattern. The fronds themselves are velvety, becoming smooth with age. The margins are wavy and lighter in color, and the entire body is up to about 20 inches across and 8 inches high, and then those individual fronds are up to 5 inches across. So we're talking about a very large mushroom. Here's a size reference for you. Somebody holding one, probably very happy because this is a delicious mushroom. The pores are unique in their color change. So they are purplish gray when young, and then they become white when they reach maturity, and then they tan after maturity as they age. The pores are medium-sized and angular if you look real close at them. They are decurrent. You can see them running down those stipes to the central branch, and they produce a white spore print, as does everything we've looked at so far. This is both parasitic and saprobic. In terms of ecology, they grow directly on living or dead hardwoods, particularly oak, and they occur either at the tree base or upon buried roots of that tree. So you're not going to find it stuck to the side of the tree. And within the tree, this causes a white rot. These are found very late summer through fall. They are solitary or scattered and are relatively uncommon, even where they occur. The edibility is choice. These are great for dehydrating. They're good in any meal. They make a meal all on their own because they're so large. You can see a cross section there. It is a very solid mushroom, a very hard mushroom to clean. People do cultivate these. So if that's something you want to get into, it's a good mushroom for that purpose. And these are for beginner mushroom pickers. This is the umbrella polypore, Polypores umbellatus. So The fruiting body is off-white to gray in color, turning brown with age, staining yellow when damaged. The individual fronds are convex, flattening and becoming depressed with age, and they have kind of a cap at the top there that becomes depressed, almost like these little cups. There are many fronds that are attached to a central branch. Once again, it will be, for the most part, obscured by the amount of individual fronds coming off of it. And these create, again, similar to the last mushroom, they create a larger rosette. The fronds are finely scaled, becoming smooth with age. The margins are smooth and down-rolled, becoming wavy and rolling upwards, again with age. The entire fruiting body is up to 16 inches across, 7 inches high, and those individual fronds are up to 3 inches across. Here's a size reference for you, a nice big one. That would be a great meal, but once again, very hard to clean. The pores are white, tanning with age. These are medium-sized pores, and they are angular in shape. You can actually even see some in the photo, so quite large actually for pores. They are decurrent. You can see them running down those little stipes, and they have a white spore print. In terms of the ecology, once again, this is parasitic becoming saprobic. These grow directly on living or dead hardwoods, either at the tree base or on roots that are buried. This causes a white rot within the tree. These are found spring through to fall. They are solitary or scattered. And they are, I guess you would say, uncommon in Saskatchewan. It's throughout their entire range. This is not a frequent mushroom to find. They don't always fruit yearly, and they're fairly scattered. The edibility is choice. These are good for dehydrating, good in any meal. You can cultivate them. And once again, this is for beginner mushroom pickers. You can't mistake this for something toxic. If you do, you shouldn't be in mushroom picking because it's very unique in how it looks. Our next species is the Resinous Polypore. This is Ichnoderma resinosum. You guys have probably seen lots of these and just walked right past them. They have concentric bands of brown, pink, and cream, becoming lighter towards the margin, and it turns dark brown with age. These are fan or kidney or hoof shaped. They have a short stipe with lateral attachment, as you can see there, or also sessile attachment. So at times no real stipe at all. The margin is smooth, it is thick, and it is rounded. You can see how round it looks there. And the surface of this bracket is velvety, becoming smooth with age. They are soft when young, and that's when you want to pick them. They become tough and quirky with age, kind of what we expect from a lot of the polypores in Saskatchewan. And these grow up to about 8 inches in diameter. I have two size references for you. There's a mature one on the left, and these are very young ones on the right. And the young ones are the ones you would want to be picking, so that's the size you want to look for. The pores are white, turning brown with age. And the pores also bruise brown. If you put pressure into them and kind of run your finger across, it'll leave a brown streak. The pores are small and angular, and they secrete drops of an amber liquid. It can be red sometimes as well. This happens when the mushroom is still young, and we'll see a photo of that coming up. And this mushroom also produces a white spore print. So these are saprobic mushrooms. They grow on decaying hardwoods, as you can see here. So no parasitism. These cause a white rot, and they are found early summer through fall. And they occur solitary to gregarious, and sometimes they'll cluster into shelves, as you can see happening here. The edibility is good. There's a nice recipe for these on the Forager Chef website. These must be collected when very young. They require long cooking times. Otherwise, it's going to be too tough to eat. And they smell of anise. And you can see there on the right-hand side, you can see those beads of liquid that I mentioned, that amber or red liquid beading up there on the pores. Again, a look-alike alert. Ichnoderma resinosum is the one that we're after on the left. Haplopilus nidulans is on the right. Again, that's a very toxic mushroom called the cinnamon bracket. Next mushroom, chicken of the woods. Anybody who has been looking into mushroom picking has probably heard of this one. I did not believe that it even occurred in Saskatchewan until this year. It's fairly uncommon here, and as I looked further into it, it turned out that there were actually 3 different species here. So on the left we have Lytiporus huroniensis. In the middle we have Lytiporus sulphureus, and on the right we have Lytiporus cincinnatus. The fruiting body showcases concentric bands of yellow and orange in L. sulphureus and L. huroniensis, and then concentric bands of yellow, orange, and peach in Lytiporus cincinnatus, which is what we're looking at on the right-hand side there. The fronds are fan-shaped or nearly circular to irregular. You can see there's a lot of variability even in this photo that we're looking at. They are smooth to radially wrinkled. You can see that radial wrinkling in this photo. And then the margin is smooth or eccentrically ragged. And you'll see some of that as we go on. And they are usually lighter in color. You can see that happening in this photo as well. The individual fronds are up to 10 inches across. The entire fruiting body is up to 25 inches across or higher, however they decide to arrange themselves. Quite beautiful as well. So here's some examples of different arrangements that these can take. Here's a size reference for you. That's a very big mushroom. The pores are yellow in L. sulphureus and L. huroniensis, or white to cream in L. cincinnatus. And they are medium-sized, angular pores. They are decurrent with the stipe, the central branch, if that's the shape that they take on, and they have a white spore print. These are both parasitic and saprobic. They grow up the side of dead or decaying or dying oak trees, and rarely on other hardwoods for L. sulphureus, as well as L. cincinnatus, though L. cincinnatus is usually at the base or on buried roots, not usually going up the side. And then for L. huroniensis, that one you'll find growing up the side of or on the base of conifers. So that one would be more common in Saskatchewan, though still relatively uncommon, but with a greater range. These cause a reddish-brown heart rot in the tree. They are found summer through fall. They occur in dense clusters, and like I said, they are uncommon here. The edibility is choice. They are good in many dishes. They are best picked when young, and these are good for beginner pickers. This will be the last mushroom that we look at in this presentation. This is the Dryad saddle, Serioporus squamosus, also known as the pheasant back mushroom. So that bracket is tan in color, lightening with age, with a dark brown to reddish brown scales covering the top. They're fairly large and fibrillous, and you can see how they, as it creates this depression, how the scales get sucked in there. It is convex, again becoming flat to depressed. If you look straight down, it has a fan or a circular profile, and I'll show you what I mean in a second here. The margin is down-rolled, sometimes becoming wavy with age, but always down-rolled. The attachment is variable. ranging from lateral, which is kind of a sideways attachment, to sessile, which is no attachment, to an eccentric attachment that's quite big. These are soft when young. That's when you want to pick them. And they toughen with age, and they're up to 13 inches in diameter. So here you can see a size reference, how big they get. And you can also see some of that variability in terms of their shape overall and in terms of how the stipe connects to the cap. You can see the lateral attachments there in the two largest ones, and then the other ones have this almost off-center sort of funnel look to them. The pores are white in color, tanning with age. You can see some of that tanning occurring here. They are deeply decurrent, running usually the full length down those stipes. They are large pores that are angular, and this mushroom produces, once again, a white spore print. So the ecology is both parasitic and saprobic on hardwoods. They are preferential to elm and box elder, and we have an elm as well as box elder in Saskatchewan, so you can find them here. They grow in clusters or shelves, and you can see that's kind of got this clustering shelving sort of formation going on there if you look at the photo on the right. And these are found summer through fall. In terms of edibility, these are choice. They are best when young and soft, and they are for beginner mushroom pickers. Can't really mistake it for anything. So that is everything for this presentation. This is the Mushroom Wizard, and I hope you enjoyed our presentation, or my presentation, on polypores, and I'll see you next time.